Hello everybody and welcome to another episode of Talking with PB. Now, get prepared, this is a long game and this one gets a little bit epic near the end. This is my first time playing this hero. This is the newest hero in Dota 2. It just recently came out earlier this week. And it's my first time playing it. So the beginning is pretty wow. I'm a huge feeder in this game. But I think I get more or less the hang of it. I still need a couple more games to get, used to the hero. It's new and all. And I'm not a Warcraft player, so I never played the game in Warcraft 3. So I'm still, a newbie. Anyways, so I think you guys liked the last episode, how I formatted it with me talking over the game as Cole Mortimer? Question mark? I think that's what his name is, or her name. Their name. Is on YouTube. They suggested it also, and I was like, great minds think alike, Cole Mortimer. Which is an interesting name. You're gonna have to tell me why you picked that name sometime. Let's see. So, did anything... So, there was this past week, we were gonna postpone a lesson for, I teach lessons. I teach, beginner violin and beginner, and super beginner piano. And we were going to, me and the mother of the two children I teach, we're gonna reschedule it, but she didn't show up on the day of, and then I called her and she never, contacted me back. So I was under the assumption, like, GG, this is over. It was nice while it lasted, but I guess we're no longer in business together. We are no longer bringing your children. But today, we were supposed to have our what is it called? The lesson, our postponed lesson on Tuesday. It is currently Saturday, which is the day we normally have our lesson, which is weird. So I called her, and I was like, well, she called me, and I was like, why is she calling me? This is weird. And she's like, hey, how about we have the lesson that I missed last week and the one for next week to this following week? And I'm like, oh, okay. And so in my mind, I'm like, I left you a voicemail. I asked you this. I called you twice, and no contact until right now. And she's like, yeah, we're not gonna come today because the kids don't feel like it. And I'm like, this is the most unprofessional thing ever. How do I convey that I'm not okay with this entire thing, with the communication, the lack thereof communication? But I didn't. I was just like, okay, yeah, sure, Monday works fine for me. Bring them over. And I'm just like, and then I hang up and I'm like, how could I have dealt with that situation in a more adult way? And then it got me thinking, like, what exactly is an adult way of dealing with things? Like, I feel like becoming an adult means learning how to deal with situations, just situations in general. Like, you understand how to speak with people you're having problems with. You learn how to speak with people in a more professional manner. You learn how to act more professionally, and you just learn how to deal with problems and issues that arise. You just learn how to do that, and in a very eloquent way, or not so eloquent, whatever your style is. And I was just like, how would an adult have dealt with this? What would be and I was thinking back to all my private lesson situations, because I'm not the best student. I'm not the best private lesson student. Especially in college. Man, in college they expect you to practice like you're a performance major. And let me tell you, performance majors, their entire life is performing. Therefore, they are expected to be in that, practice room for most of their day. When they're not doing homework or in class or eating, maybe eating, maybe sleeping, they're in that practice room practicing their little hearts out, doing their fundamentals, all their pieces, fun pieces, their etudes. Etudes are essentially an etude. It's a piece of music that is specifically written for you to learn a technique in music, whether it be a specific key signature, whether it be a specific time signature, a specific style, stylistically, how to tongue in a certain manner, how to do certain just range things. You know, it ranges from everything. Literally, all an etude is learning how to do is a piece of music designed to practice one or maybe two specific musical things, whatever they may be. Even notes, they can be notes. And so that's, you know, what a performance major does for the majority of their day, 5-6 hours in the practice room when they're in college, probably more depending, you know, how close their recitals are or performances. I, on the other hand, was a music education major. A music education major, you know, majors in the education. We concentrate more on the education and learning how to teach different things, specifically musical instruments and different techniques and such like that. Therefore, my time was more spent on doing research on the instruments that, you know, I had to learn how to play and how to, I don't know, practice a lesson, or maybe practice our aural skills, A-U-R-A-L, aural skills, listening skills, because those are difficult, or, you know, practicing piano, which I'm absolutely horrid with, and the only instrument that has ever given me problems, and also the only time I have ever been truly frustrated and angry beyond the point of just, like, irateness. I was so irate that I could have killed something when I practiced piano. Because I've never been bad at anything to that extent. But, you know, I get by, whatever, it's piano. And just, you know, practicing the instruments that we're learning at that time, and, you know, spending whatever time we can on our own primary instruments for, you know, side projects and learning musicality to, you know, a greater level. That's what private lessons for music education majors are. However, my private lessons teacher at the time, bless her heart, wanted me and my counterpart flautist to practice as if we were performance majors and expected us to practice like 2 to 3 hours a day. And I'm like, where the heck do you think I'm gonna get 2 to 3 hours a day? Let me tell you my schedule. Let's see, I think I can remember my Tuesday schedule was my worst one, because that's when I actually tried to schedule in, you know, social time. So this is how it went. I started class at 9:30. 9 or 9:30, I can't remember. For me it was 9:30 because if it started at 9, I probably started later. I probably woke up late because I had depression issues and all of that, not waking up on time, whatever. Anyways, so my first class started at 9:30 and it ended at 10:45. Then my next class started at 11. That was across campus, so I walked there. Maybe I got a coffee on the way, depending on how long the line was. Then my class started at 11. That ended at 11:50. Then at 11... Then I believe I had 11:50 to 12:50 free, and I had lunch with a friend at the cafeteria between my 11 o'clock class and my 1 o'clock class. So then I had class between 1 to 1:50. Then from 2 to... that's Tuesday. 2 to...
Top is missing.
2:50 probably. It's probably when that class ended. And then I had a break between...
Missing bottom.
Did I have a break? Did I have a break?
That's exact.
No, I don't think I had a break. Then I had a class from 3 to 3:50, and then I had a break until 5:30. And at 5:30 I had And between, you know, that time, I usually went back to my room, took a shower, got things situated in my backpack, left the things I wasn't going to need anymore in my locker and in my room. Then I came back to the music building, or I just stayed there and I did homework, you know, whatever. Or just relaxed, had some downtime in the computer lab. Or maybe I even practiced. You know, I don't know what I was doing, but between that, in that like hour-ish time, that's what I did. And then around 5, I used to hang out outside, because it was women's choir practice. So then, between 5 and 5:30, I usually spent socializing. Then at 5:30, between 5:30 and 6:30, we practiced, we rehearsed. And then at 7, between 6:30 and 7, I usually went to go eat. Because at 7? Maybe? Yeah, I think it was between 7 and 8. 6:30 and 7, or was it 7 to 8? It might be 7 to 8, I can't remember. Yeah, it's probably that. And between 6:30 and 8, I usually would eat. Or it was 6:30 to 7, I honestly don't remember anymore. And then I would have... No, 8 to 9 seems ridiculous. It had to be 7 to 8. So 6:30 to 7 I ate, or I didn't. And then eventually I got in the habit of eating at the place I taught. Because between 7 and 8, I gave this thing that was called mesas de conversación, or mesas, or tables of conversation. Was basically what it was. It's basically where me and another student, sometimes, probably most of the times, me and her were native speakers, or it was this girl who spent 6 months, who was basically genius level. She spent 6 months in, I think, Argentina, and then she learned the entire, like, language. She was a pre-med major, so she was taking biology in Argentina and Spanish, and Jesus Christ. So she came back, you know, essentially fluent in the language. And super jealous. She knew more than me and the other native speaker. And so then and what we did is different students from different levels of Spanish, from 100, 200, 300, 400, or, you know, people who just wanted to hang out and speak in Spanish would come, and we would speak Spanish to them so they could practice their oral skills. That one, ORAL, as in speaking. Their speaking skills for an hour, and then I would immediately go from there, and if I didn't have to, you know, help someone with their homework or anything, I would immediately run back to my dorm, which is coincidentally also where you guys will have probably heard me talk about her. Her name is Jane. I would head to her room, and I would spend between 8 to 9 or 8 to 10 hanging out with her and her roommate, Jessica. Oh my god, I can't believe I forgot that name. With them, and sometimes Jessica's boyfriend, Andy. We would hang out there and we would watch Dance Moms, and then sometimes my friend Katie would come over, and then she became a regular. And then we would all sit down and watch Dance Moms for an hour or maybe 2, depending on how much time we had. If I could stay till 10, I would, because my only social time with my actual friends, because I mean, I got to talk to people in messes, but that was more of like an educational talk, even though we would talk about pop culture and stuff like that to get the other students interested, my peers, I guess you could say. And then at 10, I would head back to my room. Man, my roommate never saw me. None of my roommates ever saw me. I even had a really bad roommate once, and we had to, I actually moved out of the room and moved into a different room my second semester for that specific reason, because I hated her and she hated me. But that's a story for another day. And so my roommates never saw me. And then my second roommate, my sophomore year, she ended up leaving on weekends because she lived nearby, so she would just hang out with her boyfriend and her grandmother, who she lived with, when she wasn't at school. And so she would leave on weekends on Friday at like 3, and I got out of class at 4 on Fridays, so we never saw each other. And when we did, it was very seldom. There's even one time we had a scheduled time together, because she was a is it a speech? Is that what it is? A speech major? A public relations major? A public speaking major? You know, one of those. She was a public speaking. It was speaking and maybe advertisement. I'm not really sure what her major was, but it was something around that. It was like mass communication. That's what she was majoring in. Maybe that's what it's called. I don't know. I never really asked. Obviously, we didn't really talk. And we scheduled a time so she can interview me for one of her projects she was doing, and it ended up being posted on the college website, and I was like, oh god. It was talking about studying, and it was procrastination, which I'm just like the best at. And it was talking about how I procrastinated writing a paper and studying for an exam, so I had to sleep in the building of the exam because I didn't trust myself, because it was an 8 a.m. exam, and I didn't trust myself to fall asleep at like 6 and wake up at 8 to take this exam in my room. So I just fell asleep under one of the desks, and so I told that story, and then that story ended up being published on the college website, and I was like, oh lord, my name is on it. Oh god. But it's a true story, it actually happened, and I'm glad I gave her that prize. Oh man, but yeah, and so between after 10 or 9, depending on the day, I would head back to my room, put away the things I didn't need, grab the things I did need, and then head to the band hall, which was like well across the campus from my, and it's a small campus, so that's not really saying much. It's probably like 3 blocks away from my dorm. If I had to guess, it was probably like 3 blocks, maybe 4. With a hill in the middle. And so I would go probably to the music building, grab my stuff out of my locker if I left anything there. Then head to the band hall, practice a little bit, or grab an instrument and practice the instrument there. Like when I had woodwind methods and brass methods, I didn't want to carry those instruments around. So I went there and I practiced there. And then I headed back, and then I would head back to the music building, because that building ended up getting locked after a certain hour, which is super weird because it's also the theater major's building, the theater building, I guess you would call it, and the art building. So it was all 3 in 1, and the theater kids would always hang around there along with the theater professors. So it was really weird that they started locking it. I'm like, there's nothing to steal here. Like, everything in this room that's valuable, in this building that's valuable, gets shut in. You have to open everything with your ID, and you have to be, on the list to open doors. But anyways, and then I would head back around probably 11, maybe 12, depending on how that session was going, or if I would practice my flute there. I would head back to the music building, and then I would practice my flute for an hour, 30 minutes, an hour, depending, and then I would, and piano, if I was in a good mood, I would practice piano, but usually I left that for last. Then I would head back to the computer lab because the internet on campus was atrocious, so I would spend most of my time there, and they had Macs, and I absolutely adore Macs for anything creative, or, watching YouTube videos, because man, those screens are beautiful. Say what you will about Apple, but you cannot tell me they do not make, quality products. And so I would spend time there, I would relax for a little bit, try to get some homework done, write some papers probably. Then, probably around 1-ish, if I hadn't practiced piano, I would practice piano then. Then I would probably around 2-ish end up heading back to my dorm, not be able to sleep because, thank you, depression. Can't wake up and can't go to sleep. Usually I would try to exhaust myself that way. Usually the day would exhaust me, but then I would head back, and if I couldn't sleep, I'd probably go out, I'd smoke, and then I'd come back in, and I'd be tired from smoking, so then I'd be able to fall asleep, at least. And then wake up at 9, right before 9, and start the day all over. So that was my Tuesday. That was a normal Tuesday, my second semester of my sophomore year. And that's when and I had to start scheduling social time, because I really neglected having social time, which really just destroyed me mentally. And my second semester, I was just like, I can't anymore. I can't just concentrate on just academics and my abilities because it's literally destroying me. It's destroying my ability to just function in the world. My outlook on life was so dreary. It was really bad that I just had to say fuck it my second semester. I was like, I honestly cannot pay attention to the world right now because I stop. I will just stop being able to work in this world. So my second semester, even though I tried to work hard, I busied my time is what I did. I didn't really work hard as in just made myself busy all the time. So I didn't have any time to think about my life. It was a very dark and depressing time in my life. Dark period. It's my second dark period in life. And then I stopped going to that college. And then I remained friends with one person out of that entire experience. Actually, I have, 2 or 3 friends, a couple of Twitter friends, but I only keep up with one. The others, we have the odd interaction with on Twitter because we have similar interests sometimes. But that was my Tuesday. And somehow, in all of that, my private lesson teacher wanted me to practice between 2 to 3 hours a day. Like, girl, please. I'm not a performance major. My day has other things included in them. Oh god, and then meetings? I had to go to meetings sometimes. Oh, and then I had to volunteer and all of that. Like, even my weekends. Every weekend in January, I came back around, I think it was the 3rd week of January, we came back. We started school that Monday. That Friday, I had to leave to go to a not competition. It was an invitational band event that we auditioned for, quote-unquote auditioned for. We sent in our resumes, essentially, and then if we got in, we got in. If we didn't, we didn't. So I got in that year. I don't even remember what the acronym was, but I was in that. And I played, and so we went on Friday, practiced Friday, performed on Saturday, came back on Sunday, or maybe Saturday. Maybe we performed on Sunday. Honestly, I don't remember. All I remember is that I had no time that weekend. It was fun, because I got to hang out with some cool people. And I think it's where Jane and I really became friends. She invited me to Thanksgiving, because I can't go home. I couldn't go home during Thanksgiving, because we only got 3 days, essentially, and I was not going to have time. It was not worth the money, essentially. It was going to cost me, like, in between $400 and $600 to come back home and head back to school for Thanksgiving, and no. I don't have that kind of money to just throw around like that. And so I would stay home, and Jane invited me to her family's Thanksgiving, and it was delicious. Thank you, Jane, for that. And so after that, and then us having, I really wish I remember the acronym. The something MEA something. Probably, something like that. I don't know. The something band, symphony, whatever. We hung out there, we shared a room, we shared a bed, actually. It was really interesting. That was fun. And so then I came back that Sunday, and then class, things, meetings. Then that second, third, fourth, that other weekend, I didn't have to, but I was guilted into going to a Ohio College Democrats convention that was happening in Cincinnati, and so I was guilted into that. So we left on Friday, and we stayed there, and then if you watch my VVVVV videos, it was this weekend that incident happened at that party, and oh god, I'm so glad I blacked out. I don't want to know anything that happened. between when I don't remember anything and when I woke up. Oh god. Anyways, it was that weekend, and so we came back that Saturday, and then I had Sunday to do stuff. And I think I had things to do on Sunday also. I don't remember what, but I remember I had something to do on Sunday. So I didn't have that weekend either. Then my video froze. There we go. Let's see. Why are you freezing so much? This video is already long. I'm gonna need you to like calm down. It was working very flawlessly for a very long time. You're at 25:38. Alright, we're about 20 seconds behind at this point. I should have run here. Oh, I think we actually do well this fight. Anyways, oh god, what was I talking about? Oh yeah, and so I had something to do that Sunday. And then that February, that first week, I don't remember what I had to do, but I had some sort of obligation that had me busy that entire weekend. Then the second weekend was, and not even the weekend, it started during the week. We had to leave Wednesday, like, but early in the morning. It was like 6 a.m. we had to leave. And then we had to go to the OCMEA, maybe? The Ohio Teachers Music Association? Ohio Music Education Association Convention? I don't know. OCMEA, maybe? I don't know. Hold on. Yeah, the Ohio I have the little thing on my hanging on the little shelf around behind me. It's OCMEA. I don't know what it stands for, but it was that. And so we had to leave on Wednesday essentially, and then we weren't to come back until that Saturday, maybe even that Sunday. Let's see, it says 16, 17, and 18. So that's Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Oh, that's wrong. That's wrong. We probably came back that Saturday afternoon. And we had to work that too. That wasn't just like a fun thing. We had to work a booth, our college booth. God, that was annoying. And I had to work one time with the girl I really hated, and God, I wanted to just shoot myself in the face. So that's what I had to do that weekend. So probably like an entire month and a half after, once I came back for my second semester of sophomore year, it was a running start. And you know, it probably would have been all okay if I had been in a mentally stable, okay place, a healthy place in my life. But I wasn't. I was very bitter. I was very angry. I was very sad. I was very depressed. My situation was just not ideal in the worst possible way, and I couldn't handle anything in life at that point. So everything is just, I would have been able to handle it if I was in a better place mentally, but I was not. So it was the roughest start, and it just started off terribly, and it just spiraled out of control after that. I remember coming home. I came home by train, and then the last 3 hours of my like 20-something hour journey was on bus. Really small bus too. I'm a tall person. I'm 5'9" or 10. And those seats were really, really compact. It was very uncomfortable to sit in. Thankfully, almost no one was on that bus, so we could all just have our own seats, our own row seats. So I was able to stretch out a little bit. And I went on Amtrak, and then I heard someone, I think, talking about killing someone behind me. That was really interesting. I was like, should I call someone? Should I call the police? Should I be like, there was this guy on the train talking about killing someone in a very, very adamant way, very graphic way. Hopefully nothing came of that. I didn't hear anything on the news. I hope he didn't kill anyone. I think the other person convinced them not to, but I don't know. On the phone. And so, when I came on train, I was very grateful I came on train because I was so upset. I wasn't going to be able to handle anybody. I was not in a state of mind to speak to anyone at that point in time. If I had come back, I would have just been wretched to my parents and like my friends, because I was so angry because financial aid screwed me over like 12 times at the end of the semester, and I was done. I was literally just done. You know how people say they're done? I was done, 100%. I was like, I had fought so hard for 2 years, 2 like entire years. I fought from beginning to the very end, and now I'm done. I don't want to even hear your name right now. I imagine it's like what it's like when you break up with someone you really love, but you've been just abused and abused over and over again since almost the beginning, and it started off a little bit and then it just escalated to a point where you just had to say stop. Just love yourself and stop. That situation. I feel like that's what happened. I was in an abusive relationship with my college, and I had to, you know, just separate myself from it, and eventually I just didn't end up going back. Which was a really good decision, except for the fact that a lot of my stuff got thrown away, which is unfortunate. Oh well. You know, they're just items. A couple of things I would have really wished to have kept, but, you know, I wasn't in a place where I wanted to speak to anyone from that school ever again. Even though some of them were very, very nice, I couldn't stand that place anymore. I would love to go back, but only if I had, you know, I won the lottery and I was able to afford it. Because if you can't afford that school and you can't afford to live off campus, it's just not worth it. It's honestly just not worth going to that school. It's like I said, very abusive to people who can't afford it. This is probably the point in which we are screwed. This is the point in which I believe we're gonna have an uphill battle winning this game. I'm telling you, I'm not gonna tell you how it ends up going, but it was a doozy. I just recorded this right before I started talking. So, yeah, that was college. I mean, the first semester was alright. I mean, like I said, I wasn't in the mental place to start college, I think. I honestly think I should have taken a year off or something. Because I was really tired from high school. That last semester was rough. Yeah. Let's see. Let me take a drink of water while I think of my next topic.
Totally foreseeable.
I guess you can hear when I move the mic up. Hold on.
8 rounds and all's well.
You sure can. I'm looking at Audacity, which shows you the sound bites. And yep, you can sure tell when I move my microphone up and down my headset. Sorry about that. Hopefully it gets covered up by the sound in the game. Listen to the beautiful soundtrack in that. Let's see. Let's move on to a different topic. Talking about college is a little depressing. Oh man. So, does anyone else have like 12,000 friends who have birthdays in November? Like, let me grab my phone. My phone is connected to my Facebook. And connected to my calendar. I haven't even looked at it in a long time. Let's see. November 1st. I only know one person whose birthday falls on November 1st. One person on the 2nd, alright. One person on the 3rd. Record. One person on the 4th. Holy crap. Only one on the 5th. Oh, here we go. I know 3 people with a birthday on the 6th. I know one person on the 7th. Somehow, I don't know anyone on the 8th or the 9th. Wow. I know 3 people who were born on a November 10th. Then 11 and 12, empty. Another 3 people. No, only 2 people. 2 people on November 13th. One person on the 15th. I think I only know one person on the 16th. Nope. I know 3 people whose birthday is on the 16th. And I forgot my friend's birthday on the 16th. And I talked to her at midnight. Later on, after she fell asleep, I was like, So I'm not a terrible friend or anything, but LiveJournal was the person who had to remind me that it was your birthday today. I'll be honest with you, I thought it was the 26th. Honest to God, I thought it was the 26th. Let's see, on the 18th, one person. On the 19th, 2 people. On the 20th, only 1. Holy crap. 21st, no one. 22nd, no one. 22nd, oh, 23rd. Only 1 person? Really? I'm shocked. 2 people on the 24th, no one on the 25th. I know 4 people whose birthday is on the 26th. My father's birthday is on the 27th. I don't know why it doesn't show up.
Your top tower is under attack.
On the 28th, 2 people. 29th and 30th, 2 people, ending the month strong. And then I know several people with birthdays in December also. But November just seems like such a populated month of people being birthed. And it's because 9 months earlier, it's Valentine's Day. So a lot of Valentine's babies happening. I know a lot of Valentine's babies, which I think is hilarious. Oh, it's terrible though, because I don't say happy birthday to anyone anymore, unless I personally remember your birthday. Or, you know, LiveJournal. If we're so tight that we had each other's LiveJournal, then I'll say happy birthday to you. But if I only know you on Facebook or only have you on Facebook, I'm not gonna say happy birthday to you because Jesus Christ. I tried that like for a couple of years and I just couldn't. I felt so bad when I forgot someone's birthday. And now it's just like, nah, I'm good, son. I'm good. I just got distracted by the by the TV, by the game. I have it on my other screen. I have it on my second screen. On my first screen, I have on the big screen right in front of me. I have Audacity going, so I don't get distracted as easily like I did last time, or maybe it was the game before. I've recorded 2 games, and I've actually spoken over 2 games, just to get used to, just to practice. Because speaking to myself while watching something is very distracting. I probably said distracting like 12 times in the past like minute. So sorry about that. Sorry. I recorded a lot today. I started a new series. It's called Borderlands 2. It's dedicated to Lady Empire, I think, or Marie. I honestly don't know where her. You know what? No. I'm not doing anything else. I'm not recording my screen. I can go right now to YouTube. Right now on YouTube. Right now on okay, my Opera doesn't want to open up. I can though. I will. I'm gonna have to like honestly take time to. How long is this file? It is 1 hour and 9 seconds. 1 hour and 9 minutes and 20 seconds. 1 hour, 9 minutes, and 20 seconds. That is 69 minutes and 29 seconds. Okay. I'm gonna have to keep that in mind because my video keeps freezing. But it's something that I listen to in the background that's not very distracting. Because if I listen to music, I'd get distracted by the music. Which brings me to another subject. But right now, I'm gonna go to my subscriptions. I'm on the right. Good start. Gaming Lady M. That is her name. Gaming Lady M. I won her competition, her giveaway, and I received Borderlands 2, and therefore I am now gonna play it. And so it's really fun. It's the first game I've ever played that's, you know, like this. And I've been watching a lot of her videos. Very funny. Very, very cool lady. Very, very cool. Very, very cool. Really, she's really cool in Sims 4 also. It's really funny. You should check her out. If you don't follow her, her YouTube is / sorry, Gaming Lady M. Gaming Lady M. M as in Milady. M is in a moo cow. Yes, moo cow. And her Twitter is Lady Empire, which is probably what I've been thinking of. and Marie, I believe, is their name, which I believe is also her name on YouTube. On not YouTube, on Twitter. Oh man, I followed her on everything. Let's see. Oh yeah, now music. I'm really curious about this because I'm really curious about how other people listen to music, because I never really thought about it until I got to college and I, was surrounded by people who are as passionate about music as I am. And I want to know, when you listen to a piece of music, like a song, whatever it is, pop song, a new pop song that you've never heard of, or a new jazz song, or just a new song that has a vocal track and an instrumental track, the regular formula for a pop song or a regular radio song. When you listen to it for the first time, or maybe you bought a new album, someone's new album, and you're listening to it for the first time, but again, it has to be like instrumental, vocal, and stuff like that. It has to have all of those, like I said, regular chart topper on any chart, one of those songs. Not like EDM music, but like something that has a consistent vocal track and an instrumental track. When you listen to it for the first time, preferably in English, preferably in your native language, more specifically, if the song in your native language or the language you interact with most, or at least you understand and are fluent in. When you listen to that song, what do you hear first? Like, what do you pay attention to the first time you hear it? For example, I never, ever listen to the words of a song the first time I hear a song. Probably not even the second time or the third time. I recognize that they're there and they're saying things, but I never notice it unless they pronounce something or enunciate something very oddly, or in the way I've been taught specifically never to do anything. And I make fun of it in my what do they always say? I don't even know, like an A they said the wrong way, or they put the emphasis on the wrong thing. I don't know, whatever that is, but I never pay attention to the words. I never know the words of a song, and they're the very last thing I ever learn about a song. Like, except for Tovlo, her new album, and her F, and her songs that were out before her F, all of that, I did hear the words first because they're so enticing and they're just so honest that it's really hard for me not to. But never like fully. I don't even think about the meaning of a song until way later. What I hear first is the music, or the way the music goes. Like, I don't listen to the words, but I listen to how they sing the words. Like, for example, da 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 da. Like that. Those are words that are being sung, but that's what I hear. I hear that. I hear the music, I hear the intonation, I hear the relation to that with the background, the instrumental track, or the beat. I don't even really listen to the beat either, or like specific instruments. I just listen to it as a whole, without listening to the words. Words are literally, I'm the worst with lyrics. Unless I've heard the song probably at least 100 to 500 times, I probably don't know the words to that song, except the hook if it's catchy enough. Like Timber, like, it's going down, I'm going timber, you better move. But like Pitbull's, I don't know any of Pitbull's things, and I've heard that song a bajillion times, but I don't know any of Pitbull's lines. Pitbull's not the most interesting man in the world. Alright, 44 minutes. Let's get out of that. And what did I say it was? 1 hora, 9 minutos y 20 segundos. Alright. This was a long one, man. I thought this one was gonna end a lot earlier than it did. Either one way or another. Either my team was gonna carry me, or I was gonna let my team down. And we'll see which one it is in this game. But I'm really curious to find out what you guys do, because one of my good friends, well, someone who used to be a really good friend in my old college was a vocal major. She was a vocal education major, and she was very passionate about, you know, just music in general. Not as snobbish as the girl I really hated that I had to hang out with. At least I felt obligated to hang with. I didn't have to, but I felt 100% obligated, which is total BS. You should never feel obligated to do anything like that, especially if you do not like a person. It should be 100% your decision. Oh, sorry, it's like 1 AM here. I'm tired. And like I said, I recorded, I think, 3 hours of Borderlands. I don't know. I have a lot of videos that I need to edit. And I need to come up with the intro. I'm probably going to do something like I did for Left 4 Dead. I'm probably just going to use that intro. I actually forgot to record... Well, no, I didn't forget to record. Let me rephrase that. I thought there was going to be a loading screen between me pushing new game, or like a character creation screen between me pushing new game and the game starting. Unfortunately, none of that happened. It just straight in threw me into a cutscene, and I was like, oh no. So I instantly started recording once that cutscene started, but but I didn't say a word. I just acted like I had already done it, and the very last thing I did was an intro. Oh, it was ridiculous. Oh, I'm ridiculous. So I'm a bit tired. A lot of talking today. But that means, because I talked a lot today, that means that my voice is very clear and I'm enunciating and I'm projecting a lot more. I've noticed that lately that my speech has really, you know, settled in. It's really, I don't know what the right words would be to say this, but when I first started YouTube, I started it because I forgot how to speak in a way. Not in the manner that I forgot how to say words or what words were. I just, you know, I didn't speak anymore. I was at home. I hung out with my friends seldomly. I didn't really talk to my peers in class. I didn't participate in class, so obviously I didn't really speak. I mean participating in I participate with the teacher. I play their game. But I didn't do that because a lot of my classes were really just snoozeville and treated me like a high schooler, and I was not a fan. So if they weren't gonna respect me, I wasn't gonna respect them. Anyways. Well, I was, you know, I didn't like disrespect them, but I didn't, you know, play their game. Their participatory game of me answering their questions. I just let them stand there awkwardly when no one knew the answer. Even though I did. Oh, that's fun. That's always fun. But yeah, I forgot how to speak. Because all the words I encountered were always on paper, on a screen, and they were always said in my head. I would always read them in my head. I got to the point where I had to start reading things on aloud, and I had to put like a voice to them and a character behind words in like a recap of a TV show that I would read on After Ellen or something like that. It was never my conversations were few and far between, and I only spoke to my parents, and I didn't really have to, you know, enunciate or have, you know, intellectual conversations with anyone here at home. I mean, it's only me, my mom, and my dad's always at work, so technically me and my mom. So I started YouTube so I could remember how to speak again, so I could feel comfortable speaking and forming conversations and, you know, small talk and stuff like that. And because I hadn't spoken in so long, my words were very mumbled. My mouth had to remember how to form words, and I had to, you know, remember how to do those weird things that you don't really do when you're moving your mouth, except when you're speaking. And I didn't really project because I didn't use my voice, so I forgot sort of like the levels of my voice and what my voice was capable of doing outside of, you know, randomly singing a song, which was what the other ways I would use my voice. I wouldn't do anything else. I would, you know, sing a song. But even then, I was in a music break, so I didn't even sing songs because I wasn't listening to music. To be honest with you, my voice was not being used at all. I might as well have been Ariel when she gave her voice to Ursula. Let's see. But yeah, that's why I started YouTube, for that specific reason. Oh, and also because I wanted to start YouTube. I really liked. I had always had the inkling, the urge, the itch to get on YouTube ever since I watched. God, this is gonna date when I started. This is when I started watching YouTube. I used to watch Tobuscus. I started watching YouTube, gaming YouTube, and that's when I transitioned from watching people talk to cameras and vlog and stuff like that, or talk about, you know, issues pertaining to things I wanted to listen about. I transitioned from that over to Tobuscus. I don't even remember what it was that got me there, but I remember I started watching oh, it's because I wanted to buy Assassin's Creed. I wanted to buy Assassin's Creed 2, I think. Oh my god, it was like one of the early Assassin's Creeds, and I wanted to watch. And I wanted to see what the game was like because I didn't know any Assassin's Creed game. Maybe it was even the first one. God, I hope it wasn't the first one. But I was watching Tobuscus play it because his video was one of the first ones that popped up. And he was funny, and so I watched him. And I was not interested in buying the game. I'm not interested in the Assassin's Creed series very much. And especially not now, man. Unity is a train wreck from what I hear. At least at launch it was. A lot of games are doing that where they're just train wrecks at launch. It's very sad. I think Dragon Age Inquisition did a really good job, but I think they still had some patches that had to go through. Because their patch for Dragon Age Inquisition on Nvidia didn't come out, and probably Radeon and AMTV or whatever the other one is had to come out on the day of, so. But otherwise, I think theirs was more or less seamless. I didn't really hear anything like, at least not on the Unity scale, or like the Battlefield 4, was it? That was a train wreck? For like months after that game came out. I think Call of Duty also did a really good job. Their new game. I don't know what their new game. Advanced Warfare? Is that what their new game is called? I don't know. But I don't think that one came out with too many issues, but Unity is an absolute train wreck. And like at all levels, that game was just a train wreck from what I hear at least. I haven't heard a positive first week experience from anyone. Let's see. What did I... Oh yeah, so I started watching Tobuscus, and then from Tobuscus, I started following someone. I started watching someone else. It was probably like iJustine or someone. And then I started watching Paper Bat VG, Paper Bat video game. I think was his name. P-Bat is what he's known for. P-Bat VG. It's Paper Bat video gaming. I think that's what it's called. And I started watching him. Maybe? No, he wasn't the first one I watched. God, there was some transition, but I can't remember what it was. And I think I heard about Minecraft. So I looked at Minecraft, and one of the first videos was I think Paul Soares Jr.'s, and then Steenanner's, maybe. But I think for sure I watched... The first one that hooked me was Blue Zephos. And that's a name a lot of people don't recognize anymore because that YouTube channel no longer exists. It has now been translated into Yogscast Simon, I believe, or just the Yogscast. And it is the channel of the Yogscast. It was the original channel of Simon and Honeydew. Golly, Simon and God, what's the other guys? I don't even remember. I don't even watch them anymore. That's how long ago it was. I've gone from being enamored to falling out of love to no longer watching them. They're the first channel I legitimately just stopped watching. That's when I grew from knowing when to leave. That's when I learned that lesson. That sometimes you just have to let go of things you used to love and care about. And so I started watching them, and it was when they were doing their Survival Island. But I started watching from their well, from the beginning, right? From the beginning of their series of Shadow of Israfel. And Jesus Christ, is that the funniest thing I'd ever watched. I fucking love it. And I'm still really sad that I'm still really sad that they haven't continued Shadow of Israfel. I even got someone hooked. My friend Katie, the one I talked about watching Dance Moms with us. I got her hooked on the Yogscast, guys. She doesn't even play games, okay? But she watches all of them. She watches Duncan. She watches the other off-brand guys whose names I don't even know anymore. She watches, you know, the main channel. I'm just like, I'm so sorry. Because if you guys have ever been fans of the Yogscast, you know that if you're fans, you sort of get obsessed with their stuff, because especially before they didn't used to have so much content. But I guess now it might even be an oversaturation. But I stopped watching them probably a year, maybe 2 years ago. A while ago. Because I wasn't interested in their content anymore. But man, that's when I started watching. It was somewhere, they hadn't finished their Survival Island yet. They were probably 10 episodes away from their ending of the Survival Island and moving on. But that's when I watched, guys. And so then I got into that, and then I started following other people, Paperbat VG or PBat VG. I don't know his YouTube channel name officially. It might be Paperbat, bat as in batting cages, bat, and paper as in, you know, book paper. 8.5 by 11 copier paper. Oh man, that was such a long time ago. I was just a little PB then. I mean, I'm still little by a lot of people's means, and I guess I am. In the grand scheme of life, I'm very young. I'm only a fifth of the way in, hopefully. It's also me and my I started transitioning to becoming more of an adult and having more of an adult mindset, or just a more grown-up mindset, because my friend Jane is a year older than me, but she, you know, had a fiance, and she had been with the same guy for years, and they had been, you know, talking about getting married. Obviously they were, you know, were engaged, and they were talking about kids and, you know, what they were going to do once he got out of the Navy and stuff like that. And so whenever we talked, she would always be like, oh, it's a baby, and I'm like, oh, babies. It's not that I hate babies, it's just that I never have had a prolonged experience with children, or with children in general, and especially babies. Like, before, if someone, you know, told me to hold their baby, I was like, nope, sorry, nope, I'm gonna drop that child. It wasn't until one of my cousins had 2 babies, one after the other basically, that I started carrying a kid, or I was comfortable with holding a child, because we were like really close back in the day. We're not anymore. I haven't even talked to her in probably like a year, maybe a year and a half. But before, we used to be really close, so whenever we're together, it's like back in the day. So she forced me to hold her baby. She was like, you are holding my damn baby. And I was like, oh, okay, you're tired, I'll hold your child. Don't blame me if I drop him. But I just got used to that. And no, I'm just watching the game now. And then we should have just ended the game here. It would have made life so much easier. Of course for you, this already passed. I'm already past the minute mark on my recording. And this is around, 59.5 minutes. Is what I'm talking about. So a minute ago, essentially, if we had ended the game here, it made my life easier. Let's see. Instead, we still have another 9 minutes left. But yeah, children had never been a thing I thought about. I didn't even think I wanted children. And then, because I didn't have that desire. I don't have that. I only have to have that desire now. Like I have zero desire to have a child. Like to manually push it, to fester a child in my womb and then push it out. I have no desire in that. One, I don't have a desire to just do it physically. I'm sure no one does. It's a terrible, terrible just thing that happens to your poor body. Miracle in life and all of that, putting that aside, it's just a pain for 10 months, really. And then afterwards, throwing out the placenta. That entire thing, none of that interests me. And then, neither does really the miracle of life, me personally doing that. I have zero desire to do that. But, I wouldn't mind having a child. Way later in my life, I wouldn't mind raising a child. Preferably a female, because I have no idea what to do with a baby boy. Literally no idea. I would know how to raise it, but I would not know how to do anything with it. I'd just feel like I don't understand how to, work with your anatomy. I don't know what would be the best for you, unless, in the future my wife, she has experience with baby boys and how you're supposed to, like, what the best thing is, or I have, like, a really close male friend. I'm gonna have zero idea what to do. I'm gonna be scouring the internet for hours. I'm gonna be on forums if those still exist in the future. And I'm gonna be like, how do I function with a baby child boy? Man, cause if it was a girl, I understand, I understand what girls go through and stuff like that. Boys, no idea. I have no idea how their hormones work. I don't know. I feel like the maternal instinct will, probably get me through it all, but otherwise I don't. I have this joke with my friends that they laugh at, and I think it's funny. I think it's funny. Oh, let me move in my chair. I slid down the chair, like, all the way. I was sitting in a very awkward position. Oh, man, but I have this joke with my friends that, especially, it started before I had more of an urge to raise a child. To call my own. That you should just get, because my friends are always just like, oh, babies are great, except for the, parts where they, poop and pee and stuff like that, and throw up and all that mess. And I'm like, no, you guys, all you have to do is get them once they're potty trained. Just adopt them once they're potty trained. And so that's my running joke with, like, all my friends back in college and here my local friends. I would always just be like, no, just get them, just get them potty trained. That's all you gotta do. As if they were animals. Oh man, or like a puppy. And this game is getting intense, guys. Will we win? Will we not win? You guess down in the comments, I guess. You have a few minutes. You have 5 minutes to see if we're gonna win or not. I don't know. It was more intense earlier, I guess. I just right now turned around. Man, I swear to God, whenever I play Chaos Knight, I always get like 1, maybe 2 illusions. Whenever I play against bots, they always have like 12,000 illusions. It's very annoying. Anyways. Okay, I got distracted. See, that's why I can't look at the game, because I get distracted. I see my my audio line. I see those empty spots. Those 3 awkward moments. So yeah, so that's when I felt like more of a shift from teenager to like moving into adults, because I started thinking about adult things like having a child. Like, who thinks about that? Who thinks about that in a positive manner? I mean, I guess some people do. Some girls are obsessed with having children when they're younger, because they're young and gullible and think that the world is all sunshine and rainbows. Oh man, what an outlook to have on life. I'm a pessimist. I try to be optimistic. I'm very logical though. I'm very Spock-like, where I don't like necessarily think the world is all doom and gloom, but I don't necessarily think, you know, the world is full of unicorns and, you know, glitter. I'm more of like, well, this or this can happen. If this happened, this would happen. If this would happen, this would happen. And then the pros and cons of this and that would be this, this, and this. And then the pros and cons of that would be this, this, and this. And therefore, if I have 2 choices, it would be this one or this one or this one and this one. And with this one and this one, this would happen. And with this and this would happen. Now, which one am I more prepared to, you know, deal with in the future, the near future, or, you know, far future, depending on the severity of the issue, or the problem, or the situation at hand. That's sort of like my thought process. It's sort of like what you do when you play an RPG or a game that asks you decisions. Like LA Noire, if you guys ever played that. Another game I never played, but I sure watched Tobuscus play it. And that gif of a flying car, I watched that episode and I died. I watched that episode like 12 times. And then I looked at all the gifs, and then I watched the highlights. That I watched. I also no longer watch Tobuscus. I was again not interested in his content anymore. He was really funny. I think he's a funny guy, but I just was not interested anymore. I'm trying to backtrack. Oh yeah. So it's like LA Noire or like any Dragon Age game. I'm assuming they all have the same formula, and just like all of that stuff. I assume that's how I look at life. When you're outweighing you're weighing your options to see if I do this person is probably going to be mad at me. Am I more willing to have, you know, a lower rating with this person or this person? How will that affect me in the long run? What are their skills? What can they offer me? And what am I willing to give up? That's sort of the options I have. That's how I look at options in real life, and that's how I do things in real life. Let's see. I am about 2 minutes behind on my video, so about a minute to go. I don't know if we've won or we've lost at this point. I don't know if I'm alive or I'm dead. I don't even know if we're at the final screen right now. But so, yeah. If you guys tell me what you guys think. I really want to know about how you listen to music. Whether or not what you listen to first, what you hear for the first time, what you try and pay attention to. And if you don't know, go listen to a new album of something you haven't listened to before. I recommend Tovlo. She's very poppy. She's from Sweden. Pop. She's in her mid to late 20s. I think she's 27 right now. And her experiences are very. Her album is. If you listen to her EP, which is on Spotify, I think her album's on Spotify too. If you listen to her EP, her famous song right now is Habits. Parentheses Stay High. That one's the really good one that's out right now. My personal favorite songs of hers are Love Ballad, Moments, Not on Drugs, and Time Bomb, I believe. Those are my favorite songs right now. Although I like all her songs, but those are my favorites. Moments for sure. I think if you don't like her style so much, I think Moments might win you over. let's see, and just, you know, listen to anything like that. Whew, oh, I'm over time. So just tell me, you know, what you hear for the first time, or just hear someone's favorite album. Just listen to something for the first time, something you haven't heard on the radio or anything. Tell me, you know, what you remember being your first memory of transitioning from a teenager to, you know, having more of an adult mindset, and what, you know, being adult means to you. Like, what does it mean to be an adult instead of a child, or like me, as someone transitioning from being a teenager to an adult? Oh man, I'm over time. Even my episode has my video has ended. Again, thank you guys for watching. I really appreciate it. If you want to discuss anything, talk about it down in the comments. I always look at them, if not a few days late, but I'll most likely always reply. Thank you guys for watching. I really appreciate it, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye!